we are Saturday 9th of November 2024, and we are very happy to finally meet Portion Control this time. We remember we had an interview together almost 2 years, 2 years and 1 month ago. So we are very happy to finally see you in Paris, especially in this venue. I think it's going to be cool. So my first question, I just said it, but anyway, I'm going to say it again. Finally, the first show in Paris for the band is happening tonight. What can we expect from it? It's a tricky question.
Yeah, it's a mixture of new material and like from our sort of back catalogue. But we don't normally go back too far, do we?
No, we don't go back too far. We don't generally do much from
the first
the
period,
80s.
Yeah.
We've got one or two bits. But
one or two bits, yeah. But they've been reworked as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for any band you get the most enjoyment from doing your newer material and so on. But when we say newer material, I mean some of it's still, might be from Filthy White Guy or one of the CDs of that period.
Yeah.
And then mixed in with a couple of new things, which is quite good for us to try. So we're experimenting with them. Yeah, so a bit of a mishmash.
The last album out, Head Buried, is already almost 5 years old. Can we expect something new in 2025?
Yeah, 2025 sounds reasonable. Yeah. We've got like I say, there's a couple of tracks probably that might be working their way onto that we'll do tonight. And we have got a few other tracks sort of in the pipeline.
Yeah, we've got plenty of little bits floating about to work on.
Yeah, so I think 2025 definitely.
An album or a maxi?
No, I think we're going to go back to do a proper full album again.
Great,
Yeah.
That's very good news, man. I'm very happy.
Because I know we did the CD EPs, the EP format still isn't quite as, we all sort of relate probably better to a full sort of CD still, So I know we like doing the seeds, the 3 EPs, one following the other in quick succession. We thought was, gave us a chance to try a bit of a looser format, didn't they?
Yeah, and they were partly a product of COVID. To be honest,
that's true.
Suddenly you're faced with time at home.
So it goes more time to work on music
play around and
it
seemed like a natural thing that we had time on our hands more to do stuff. So.
And then we set ourselves a target of doing the 2-minute tracks, the ones that appeared on the CDP, the third seed. And because the track's 2 minutes, for some reason it like unshackles you to be a bit more, you can be a bit more experimental. You don't have to work the track up into a complete song. So that freedom, I think, was good. So we quite enjoyed that, the little 2 minutes or interlude track, or not interlude tracks, the 2 minute, what do we call them? Can't remember now. Anyway.
2-minute track.
Did
Yeah.
it working through the COVID time? Was it like a kind of therapy? In a way?
No, not really therapy. It was just we had more time on our hands. Quite, we weren't particularly adversely affected by the whole COVID thing, but we just had those weeks when everyone was told to stay at home.
Yeah, so for us to get onto the machines was a natural thing to do. So it was productive in that sense. Yeah.
How did it change the way you work on stage since you've gone full digital?
Well, we used to run. Well, we've run all sorts of things in the past, but we don't play. We've never played keyboards or interested in playing keyboards.
Not to any degree.
Not from day one. We've always painted. MIDI on the screen from Pro 24. Right back in the early days up until now. So we really only our mouse and screen really is the way that we write music. We've got a few boxes that we use as well. Things like SP404s and MPCs, and I've got a Digitac. So we use those, but eventually it's going to land up in Bitwig or Ableton or whatever.
but even before all the digital, we, you know, playing live, most of it was on
most
on
was like reel-to-reels,
reel-to-reel
wasn't it?
tapes and things.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some keyboards just to do some little ad hoc noises and things, but generally.
Yeah, so we tend to have like the tracks split across a digital desk, so that's sort of mixed live, and then we've got the MPC that adds in some sequences, so that's sort of synced up, so that comes in, and then at the same time we run the video clips through Resolume, so they're done manually from the stage as well, so there's enough to sort of, you know, create a sort of a live, you know, create how we want to be perceived live, and then obviously Dean's covers the vocals.
But the visuals as well is something virtually from day one we've nearly always done visual in some format, even if it's just slides and Super 8 films and stuff. We've always had that element.
So this is what we're gonna have tonight as well.
We've got visual tonight,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, always, yeah.
What can we expect for portion control in the future? You have already a vision in your head of what?
We don't really look, I mean, you know, like we're saying, there's quite probably will be a release in 2025, but we don't look like, what are we going to be doing?
Plan it.
We don't plan too much.
No, it's more organic, isn't it? It's more like we'll just write tracks and we'll bounce tracks backwards and forwards. I mean, Dean writes as well, you know, so we'll send tracks backwards and forwards because we live sort of 300 miles apart. So generally we'll get an idea for a track, and if we think it's got value, then we send it across to each other. Some get binned, some get reworked, you know, some elements get, you know, merged into. But we instinctively know, both of us now know, we've been doing it long enough. We know if we've got something which we think sounds like, you know, we want it to be. So that's the important thing. The important thing is for it to sound like what we think portion control should be. And it's funny because you know, I instinctively know if I've done something that I think Dean will respond to, and vice versa. So yeah.
You've got this amazing talent to make your sounds round and bassy and in a way very analog with digital, and I'm still always very impressed with the way, and I can't understand how you manage to do that.
Well, we think the music we make now is probably what we wanted to make back in 1982.
Yeah, I mean, we rely heavily on, you know, technology is a big part of what we do. We're not musicians, we never have been. We've never tried to be particularly musicians, so, you know, we enjoy using the technology.
You love the technology, yeah.
And you still manage to do this mix between EBM, industrial, electronics that is easily recognizable, very easy.
Well, there's a number of reasons for that, I think, and that number one is that we come from a punk background, so we were raised on, I hate to say, you know, the chorus, verses, choruses, middle aids, you know, this kind of thing. Not that we use it, but we sort of appreciate getting the song done, you know, so I think that's one thing. And I think the other thing is we were always, or from Iceland mentally, we'd always veered towards, you know, that more industrial side. And at the same time, because we had this punk element, that added in what I suppose you would now call the EBM side of things. You know, so I think we were using sort of bass EBM sequences as early as anyone, weren't we? Really?
Yeah, we did. You know, but we
we wouldn't have called them EBM.
But
we wouldn't have called them EBM at the time. But they you know, that's.
But I think once again it's always been kind of an organic thing. We've never really sat there and discussed and said, oh, we're going to be an EBM band or we're going to be an industrial. We just go with the flow of things that we like.
We tried to evolve it, and we realised that we're never going to be particularly, we're not going to sell loads of units, but that's not really, it's never really been what we've been bothered about. We've always worked for a living, so portion control is just a vent and a hobby to us, or let's not say hobby, let's say a vent for getting our points across. So that pressure, you know, there's never, you know, we haven't decided to suddenly become techno, or we've seen other bands that we've quite admired in our scene that have suddenly become, you know, a bit sort of rappy or a bit, you know. So we've just stuck to doing portion control.
When did you realize you had such an influence on so many bands all over the world? Did you realize at this period how influential you would be through? I mean, even today there are so many bands that can be linked to early portion control things. We've met so many bands and people and
it's easy to say like an obscure band is your, you know, is your influence, isn't it? We say it. We pick fairly obscure bands that are our influence.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's safe to say us, isn't it? Because we're not threatening anyone. No, but I suppose I think it's time, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's more a time period, you know. We were, I suppose, we rushed to the London Rock Shop. We bought a Dramatics. We bought a TB303. You know, we were recording Ice Age mentally. We still. You know,
I think we were on that cusp that when electronic instruments suddenly became affordable.
Exactly.
You know, so there was a, you know, before that period, they were, unless you could make them yourself, they were very expensive.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, you know, with companies like Roland and Moog, and you know, things got more affordable and more technology came in and drum machines, and it just seemed, for us, it was, you know, there was.
But you managed to be always first each time. I mean, I've seen so many interviews by so many bands, Frontline, Assembly, Skinny Puppy. They all say, "Oh, when we discovered portion control, it was like." Can you do you understand where it's come from?
Well, I guess so, but it's like I mean, we were influenced by bands that came a little bit before us. You know, we liked Throbbing Gristle, we liked Cabaret Voltaire and things like that. So, you know, which we came just a little bit after, and then you get a natural progression, don't you? And there'll be bands that say they were influenced by Frontline Assembly, and you know, it's just a natural progression, I think.
Yeah, but you managed to have your own audio identity in a way, which is something very hard and tricky to do. And there are today many bands that trying to sound like portion control, and still for many of them never really managed to approach that sound.
But then if we try and sound like someone else, we find it, you know, we would find it hard to do. I mean, I watch lots of YouTube videos on you know, technical equipment, when they're reviewing equipment, and always the music that's made is like sort of cookie cutter techno, you know, and stuff like that. But you know, if we tried to do that, we'd probably fail at that. We can only really do, you know, portion control. So that's how it works. You know, we can't make it like, you know, we can't add like loads of pads or, you know.
So in a way, you had already this sound in you.
Exactly. It's just the way that we write, and we've got this, like, we know if it, like I say, we know if it sounds like it sort of fits, don't we?
Mm.
And it's nothing to do with melody or nothing to do with tone. It's nothing to do with atonal. It's just when it sort of sounds like it's, you know, the right sort of the right composition, and then that's it.
Thank you very much for
Pleasure.
that interview.
Okay.
Very happy to finally have you in Paris.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank
Pleasure.
you very much.
No, that's good. Thanks
Good.
very much. I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Cheers.